Hello, y'all. So, whatever that was. I'm just gonna embarrass myself a lot. We gonna get used to it, right? Okay. So, I got this new deck, right? Oh wait, that's the back. The Native American Tarot. And I've been, right? One of them already wants to come out. Damn, I'm dropping everything over here. Whoop. Okay. So, just look at this deck. Just look at this deck. Like, oh, the illustrations are lovely. But yeah, I just got it. And like, these are the back of the cards? What? So pretty. So pretty. It was making me think of that, what is it? It's Malia and Coltrane. Pretty, 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 pretty baby. Just so pretty, 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 pretty baby. Now, maybe this is a card that was meant to. Ooh, there's one more. Woohoo! Okay. One more. We gonna do three. Two. We gonna do three. Woo! That was more than three. Y'all gonna have to be a little bit more specific than that. Y'all gave me 3 total. I want it. Fine, I'll take it. This is just gonna be longer than I thought it was gonna be. That's okay. So, and my nails mean that it's hard to pick these off the floor. Okay. The deck really want to say hi to y'all, huh? I'm sorry I was being rude. And you know I didn't mean it. I want to be chill. I want to just quick little 3-card kind of thing. That's okay. We're gonna get into it. So, 1. I have the little book thing here, and I could use it. One of these cards that came out doesn't look like the rest of them, and that's what I got so excited about at first. Ooh! I haven't even fully looked at the book. So, there's different... Ooh! There's an Aztec pyramid spread. That has 12 cards. Native cross, 15 cards. Alright. Medicine wheel, 23 cards. So, I'm gonna do a medicine wheel at some point. Ooh! Whoa. Yeah, this looks beautiful. It's like different pathways: fall, winter, summer, spring, but also dusk, midnight, dawn, noon, and the heart. That's beautiful. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. Why did I come in here? Huh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could do this one, but I don't even like, it's not even a question. I just wanted to read these. So that was like the one that has 5 cards is like a kind of like a yes or no. It gives you examples of why and stuff. Okay. I want to find one card specifically though, because anyways, it's not needed. It's not needed. So it's still a card, right? This is the back, but it says it's a medicine song. Sia medicine song. I wanted to know if maybe there was like music for it, or like even just like any reasoning towards it. Maybe I'll find it later, but I think I'm supposed to sing it first just to get it out the way. But so, not out the way, but let me just. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Grant our children life and happiness. Send forth the good south winds. Send forth your breath over the waters, that our world may be beautiful and our people may thrive. Far off over there, Sun Father awakens, climbs up his ladder, leaving his resting place. May all complete life's long road, may all grow old. May our little ones know the sweet smell of the sacred breath of life. May our children have maize, that they may complete their journey. Sit down, remain here, we give our best gift, our best thoughts. We inhale the sweet smell of the sacred breath through our prayer plumes. Don't ask me to do it again. I don't know what the melody was, but it was channeled and what I tell you, my tea. We inhale the sweet smell of the sacred breath through our prayer plumes. I think plumes, I don't know what a prayer plume is. I'm actually gonna write that. Look it up. I love having a computer, bro. You know how easy the internet is? Like, mind blown. I can look things up and I know it right now. That's so easy. Like, and we still find ways to do things over it. Okay. I didn't know that. That's mad cool. Yay, we're learning. Okay. Prayer. Sorry, I forgot I'm doing this thing. So I'm just talking like I'm to myself. Anyways, so I'll read it out loud. Prayer plumes are feathers attached to sticks used in rituals and ceremonies by some southwestern and Pueblo tribes. They are also known as prayer sticks or paho in Hopi. prayers are spoken into the feather, into it, like, that's so lovely. That's so lovely. Wow. We inhale the sweet smell of the sacred breath through our prayer plume. So it's like as you're fanning yourself, you would inhale the breath. But like just, I spelled the T right beforehand, and so like yeah, just so lovely. So lovely. That was medicine. That was medicine. So much. May our little ones know the sweet smell of the sacred breath of life. That's just so lovely. Wow. So I don't know if there's a description on why the song, but I feel like that was why, was my feeling, all of the way that it happened was exactly why. But I want to know why it's in here, because it's not formatted like these are the other cards, you know. This one says honor, right? Okay, so I'm gonna try and read them, and then maybe I'll read the little booklet, but I'm gonna be real with you. I'm just gonna go off of like, I wanna take the imagery and just kind of like, this is like only the second reading I've done with these, and the first public one. So this is honor. I see here a man who looks like, he is not native, like European descent. He has one of those what are they called? Coon skin hats, right? The raccoon hat thing, that thing. And they're sitting in a circle with like 4 other people, and then passing around peace pipes. He has like this like, well, let me study it. Like this with his hands. They're lower, but like I'm just showing you up here because that's what the computer's gonna see. But like this kind of like, he's talking with his hands. He looks very jovial. The person next to him looks very jovial as well. And it's just like sitting on the ground, crisscross applesauce, chilling. And there's these like trees in the background, like fir trees. And the clouds, there's mountains in the background. It's like they're sitting in this like little valley, or this meadow, this grass. It says the word like for and then honor. And the way I'm taking it is because there's 4 of what looks like peace pipe kind of thing, and there are 4 of the natives and this one man. Like what an honor it is to be in community and sharing those ideas. Yeah. Let's see what it says. 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 metaphor of pipes. So it is pipes. Haha! I did it. For example, hardy mountain men roamed the Rockies in search of beaver, whose pelts were primarily used for the stylish hats of Eastern gentlemen. So beavers. Trappers were exposed to hunger, thirst, heat, snow, and native attack. The stories of their survivals and sudden deaths mingle fact and fantasy. Sometimes the facts were so incredible that they were immediately elevated to the level of a legend. Ooh. So they got clout real fast. Okay. Honor shows a mountain man seated with 4 braves at the foot of a mountain pass. One brave holds a ceremonial pipe on his lap while the white man talks with his voice and hands. This is not war. This is not a war party. None of the Native Americans are wearing war paint, and the attitude of the group is one of camaraderie. The essence of honor is success attracted by foresight and humility. Inherent is the climax of negotiations successfully brought to a gainful conclusion. So that's really lovely. I'm really surprised by myself. Wow. Okay. In the effort of time, I only want to read one more, and then I will rely on the book for the other ones more so, unless I feel called to do regardless. But I also want to challenge myself, because these ones are all minor arcana, where this one is major arcana, and I already know what the justice card symbolizes, but I want to understand what the difference is, because there is like in the beginning of the book they talk about like what is the same and different. This is really beautiful. It shows a few different people. It looks like maybe a chief with like a staff that has a totem on it, and then multiple totem poles. It's a frog. It's like what, like a deer, a bear, a turtle. I want to say falcon, but like I want to call it an eagle, but it looks like a falcon. More so. Not that I actually know what birds look like. Actually, I do, bro. I do. It's like the beak itself looks more like a falcon to me. This guy right there. It's also 11. We've been talking about the power of 11. It's a master number. I love 11. And there's this little. It looks like a baby, but it looks kind of creepy. I'm not gonna lie. At the bottom, this guy in the totem pole. He look dope. Okay, it don't focus, but his eyes are just slightly there, and so it just a little creepy. It looks like Shrunken Heads and Beetlejuice. That's why it looks slightly creepy to me. But yeah, that looks like a squirrel. Anyways, I said I was gonna read it. I already know what justice means. It's just interesting to see what stands out. So okay, so you can see through that totem pole to see this person, and there's 2 people in red and 1 in yellow and 1 in brown with a blue band around their head. The chief is looking outwards, but everybody else is looking down and looking towards, like, it looks like they're within like a structure of some sort, because you can see that. So to me, it's giving like judgment. So maybe that's like the justice. I think because this is like one that is similar to the other, like all the message, I'm like, it just feels like it's clouding my brain because I already know like the justice card, but it's just justice, bro. But so like some of them are different, like the sled. Of course, the star and the moon are the same, but justice. Okay. No Native American chief has supreme authority over his band, much less his tribe. However, chiefs known as great peacemakers were invariably asked to arbitrate disputes. Serious issues that affected the entire band were resolved by a council of leading men. Into this council, an important member brought by the speaker's staff. This was a ceremonial, highly decorated staff that was passed around during the discussion. No one could speak until the staff was in his hands. Usually, a man who had reached the age of 40 no longer went to war and instead became a member of the Council of the Elders. He also holds a small personal totem as a mark of his importance. So that's this guy here. And that's interesting because yeah, the energy does feel like it's more pointed on him. Like these people are like kind of like tilted away. So it's interesting. Justice represents equilibrium in all things, as in nature. Nature, though not just, is exact. Yeah, there was a lot of like, because it's a lot of the totems, this felt like, I feel like justice, the way it's described regularly, like why I felt so blocked was because like we live in a, like a punitive system, and so like the way that like justice is like, it's like the whole like, what is it, like order in the court, like that kind of like justice. And so this felt very like nature heavy in the energy, and my brain was like, I don't know what the card is, because the word itself was like, I think if I saw the image itself without the word, it would bring a different thing about. But the word, because I already know tarot, like it's just not giving what I wanted it to give, and my brain was like clouded. But so the card is symbolic of the communal secret course of judgment in which all current experience is absorbed, transmuted, and finally passed on to be manifested further. In this case, in the tribal council, equilibrium of the tribal whole stands apart from any individual prejudices. It is impossible to act without creating a reaction in every lodge. In this card, the virtue of every act is assessed, and precise justification demanded in fulfilling law of karma to fully satisfy fulfilling a law of karma to fully satisfy destiny. Every form of energy must be directed and applied with utmost integrity. Oh my god, the next one's called Sundance. Okay, but okay, distracted. But yes, okay. And so both of these cards are very heavy in community, right? Very heavy in community. Showing through like community for foreigners that you don't even know, and camaraderie was the word that they used specifically. But also just in general, understanding that like what you do has to be with integrity. And even the song, right? There were more prayers over it. It says, may our little ones, may our children, grant our children. Like it is over the thought is like over the collective, right, and the offspring, rather than of the what is it called? Oh, yeah. Rather than that of like individuality. And as I say that, I'm also just that reaction was the next card I'm gonna read is the Chief of Pipes, right? And I love this. There's the dream catcher, like shields, and there's arrows, bows and arrows, and they're fire. And he's just sitting, smoking his pipe. Like, ugh, love it, love it, love it, love it. The card is beautiful. But so, and I'm going through, and I went through, you know, like when you read the books, and it's like, I go past the numbers, so I had to go back, and I flip back, and looking at it, right, this is the Chief of Pipes, and just thinking about it, it has the Matriarch of Pipes as the top one of the suit, and then the Chief of Pipes is next, where in a traditional tarot, and like I guess it's kind of probably based off original card decks of like, where does that originate from? Where did the design for I don't know if the design is the right word. Okay, that's interesting. 9, okay. So this says the origin of playing cards is debated, but they were likely invented in China during the Tang Dynasty in the 9th century. They may have been developed alongside tile games like mahjong or dominoes, right? Around 1360, playing cards reached Europe from the Mameluke Empire of Egypt. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. That's okay. The earliest known description of playing cards is a miniature 14th century manuscript. And thinking about that, like how things are known aren't from a collective knowledge, right? Just looking at this, like the structure of these communities were so integral to the way that people were interacting with each other. They were like so interwoven and intertwined, and we act as if we are not currently. But there's also a lot of ways in our current modern day society that we're able to find separation from that. And I think, to me, I was just praising the fact, I was just very taken aback, and like it felt very much in alignment that the matriarch is of the highest order, right? Because thinking about that, the fertility, and like the mother specifically, right? Birthing of new ideas, birthing of new transformations, birthing of children specifically, Earth Mother, right? Like that, like tangible bringing, like using a portal to bring things into the 3D. It feels very aligned to have that be praised in that way, right? To have it be put as the top thing, like that is something that also is not seen in this. So it's just in this society now. So it's just interesting. It's just it was a lovely reminder of the alignment of the like values of the culture specifically. So yeah. I don't want to. It says convert savages. I don't want to read about that part. Let's skip down. That's exactly what I'm freaking talking about right now, right? Let's skip down. Actually, this is kind of interesting. The chief then declares, I have not called your wonders absurd. I thought it more decent to believe. So it's talking about a missionary trying to prescribe God basically to the chief, right? The lady objects, saying that the tale is unbelievable. Oh, okay. So she's talking about Genesis, and then he's like, haha, let me tell you about. Also, the fact that it says myth is interesting. 3131. So we're going to have to look into that one. But myth of a bear. The lady objects and says that it's unbelievable. So he's like, no more. The chief observes than the snake that spoke to Eve, right? Confusedly, she thinks that they were inspired. And he's like, no, I think it's cool that you believe that. Like, that's a decent thing to believe, you know? Like, that's great. I love this. Okay. But yeah, the fire burns brightly beside him, a chief blanket. His bones. The chief in pipes is an honest and conscientious. It just doesn't sound like it's right. Like, it doesn't feel like my mouth is biting the word properly. Conscientious person, mature, wise, and sympathetic. He is often slow and deliberate in making up his mind because he perceives both sides of every situation. He is basically just, but does not believe in unyielding justice. Though generous to a fault, he is also an extravagant boaster, while laughing slyly both at what he boasts about and himself for boasting. His greatest fault is pride, but honest pride, having no use for meanness and pettiness. He is a champion of the underdog and always wins eventually, even though it may seem to take forever. He holds the civilized world in contempt, but respects every man and woman profoundly for their individual potential. Wow. What's coming through to me is like this could represent a person, or maybe like the masculine energy that you bring within your own life. But also in this idea of harmony, it seems to be just like looking over 3344. So I didn't look up the other one. I don't remember what I said, so we're gonna look that one up. But right, respects every man and woman profoundly for their individual potential, right? And that's thinking about this idea of like looking at this unity of community. I like that. That rhymes. But I feel like the Chief of Pipes card is showing out like the mindset you have to be able to keep up that type of community, right? Right? Generous to a fault. Honest pride, having no use for meanness or pettiness. Yeah. It's often slow and deliberate in making up his mind. I feel like that's like we think about it in like community decisions take longer than individual decisions, right? And that takes patience and care and time and like the right attunement to thinking about what everybody's needs are, and not even just thinking about like actually asking and having people weigh in on what their needs are. They'll be like, hey, how do you feel? Actually, I need this right now, you know, and like having that be a conversation and it being continuous. It doesn't need to be like a this is the decision, boom, right? Because what does it say? Like unyielding justice, right? That's not the idea. It's just understanding the ebbs and flows of everything and how that interacts with who we are. So I'm gonna try and find the other ones. Is it this way? It is. Haha. But while I do that, 3344 signifies a message of encouragement to stay positive, enthusiastic, and persevere in your efforts while working steadily towards your goals. Maintaining a joyful attitude and trusting that you have the necessary tools to achieve your dreams. So I think that also aligns in the, like, specifically like the attitude part, right? We need to be in this energy to be able to create spaces where this is possible, right? Where you're welcoming in the foreigner but with peace, and where you are using collective community to make judgment over like individual judgment. And how do we prioritize those things is by standing in this integrity that we have, right? Trusting that you have the necessary tools to achieve your dreams, right? And with the way that the earth is going right now, right? The earth is literally heating up. Supposedly it's supposed to be like one of the hottest summers. We see the fires in California happening right now. Like, the earth is heating up. And so in those moments, right, we are forced more so to look and to ask for help, right, from community, to lean on community. And so as we are witnessing, as we are those being leaned on and needing to lean on others, right, understanding how to do that with integrity and respect for the others, right? There's a lot of readings and stuff people want to talk about. Oh, there's people siphoning your energy and they're trying to take it. And that's all fine and good. Yeah, let people know that. That's great. But maybe I'm not seeing it, and so maybe this is for me to be able to call it in. But where are the people talking about how do we actively build those connections, right? Where you are held in integrity, and those around you will also hold you to that standard of integrity. You know, they'll remind you of where alignment is and where it can be found and how to work in that, instead of being in our ego state. And so with that, I feel very blessed to have people that I feel like I can call upon. Yeah, I feel very blessed. But that's also, it is my action that leads to that calling upon. No blade is worthy unless it cuts both ways. This weapon was used in both the spiritual and physical aspects of war. Both ways of the Native American. The Ace of Blades shows a hand passing on a war pipe. Blade down, smoke curling up from the bowl. The essence of the Ace of Blades is the human need for growth and trust in the struggle for individuality. Wisdom cannot be acquired passively. One must have faith and understanding in the nature of the environments, one's fellows, and oneself. And that can be another, like, trinity, right? The environment, one's fellows, and oneself, the peers. And it's very interesting. Right, but so let me see. This particular weapon came into use after the coming of the white man. Before the white intervention, Native Americans had no steel. Right, the weapons and pipes were made of stone, antler, or wood. After steel knives, arrowheads, and axes were supplied by traders, Native American weaponry became far more deadly than before. So because of this, right, the tomahawk, hatchet, or war pipe is a common symbol used for depicting Native American. For the Native American, oh my god. There's an old adage that is part of the lore of both Europe and Asia that paraphrase states, no blade is worthy unless it cuts both ways. So the weapon was used both in the spiritual and the physical aspects of war, both ways. So maybe that's what I'll do. So, right, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X. Right, I'm bringing this together, I promise. 4222, as I said that. So they had very different ideas on how to try and, like, integrate America, right? And basically repurpose is not the right word. Reconstruct how rights for Black Americans were looked at within the country. And so where was I going with this? So, right, this is like the I have a dream. This is like the idea of like what things could be, right? And they can be, and they have been, and it's like us trying to get back to that in this timeline now, right? Of how things have progressed, specifically like westernized society and all that, right? Now, this, right, the kind of like slow acting, peaceful, non-harmful way, right? I feel like these two, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they both start with M's, and so my brain was trying so hard to remember which one I was trying to say. Oh my god. But, right? Because he said, we can do it peacefully. On some Gandhi type-ish, right? We can do it peacefully, right? But he was like, yeah, and, you know, like, that's really what it is, right? And it like, the idea is that you need to be able to do both, right? It cuts both ways. So, wow, the peace part of it, right? Because those of us who are looking at children dying and the world burning and feeling hopeless, like that's not doing anything helpful. Feeling hopeless, sitting here in your privileged ass, like, perpetuated state of consumerism and survival within that state, right? That is not helping anything for you to sit here and feel hopeless. And understanding that, like, the media and the news purposefully will use messages to take you out of that alignment, right? Take you out of this, right? Understanding how to act with integrity. right? Because they play on emotions, like put you in an emotional state. I literally was talking to my dad about this the other day, just chatting. He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, bro. Like, I know you know this. I just wanted someone to talk about it with, and you know this, and so we could talk. But yeah, right? Like, it is important for us to keep going, right? 45. Let's see what that one is. It's important for us to keep going, right? This is a long video, y'all, but I'm chatting, so it means something. Sign of success. It encourages you to keep working towards your goals, right? It's your time and you have universal support, right? Focus on your values and spiritual growth and let go of anything that no longer serves you. So if you feeling constantly drained and the media cycle feels like it's not serving you and you're not able to keep that high vibration of yourself and that integrity, that's okay. Work on that for yourself, right? Find ways that you can do that, whether it's like listening to different creators or whatever, or like maybe like limiting your time online, like all these things. Like there's multiple ways to do that, but understanding that, like, I also like to think of like words as blades, right? I think it's very important to speak a certain type of way. When you understand how powerful your words are, you will understand how important it is to speak in a certain light, right? In levity, right? And not in a spiritual bypassing, like, oh, it's not happening kind of way, right? And I find myself in that, like, understanding I can affirm that this sucks right now, and this is what I see, and this is what I want it to be, and blah, 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 right? But understanding that whatever you feed, it has power. And you continuing to feed it, especially in an emotional way, right? Like, I think there's one thing about like talking about things, and yes, we need the anger and we need like the rah, 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 we need all of that. We need that. That has a purpose as well. But if that's not what you feel called for, right? If that's not how you feel called to be active in spreading awareness, right? And in general, and just in healing generally with people, then you need to understand how can you talk about things that will be more so, or not necessarily talk, but like, yeah, talk, because these are things we cannot have forgotten, right? We cannot forget about, like, I can't even count right now, right? I lost track, and none of the numbers were even accurate anyways of the death toll that's going on in Gaza right now. And like the thing is that that's one of how many genocides going on currently, right? And like looking at, like, for us to be able to do this, right, it's literally killing people in Congo. So for all of that, right, for me to have this fancy thing that records me so I can be like, hi, and I can talk to the people, you're like still destroying people, right, inadvertently. And like understanding like how to be ethical and thinking about like that in a collective consciousness, right? Because I think a lot of the times, even when we are thinking about it, it's like very much like closed-minded of like, oh, but this doesn't affect people in my area, right? Like, I live on the East Coast, so am I really thinking about the fires? It's 20 degrees out. You think I'm not like, I'd like something warm, maybe not that warm, but you know, right? And also thinking about like the way that like they're literally using people who are incarcerated labor, basically free labor. And like there's deaths, there's fires, there's people losing their houses, all of these things, right? And understanding also like now they're automatically just putting a bunch of money up to rebuild everything. And like, where was that money beforehand to try and create infrastructure that would have been helpful in this situation, that wouldn't have let the fire get as far as it has, right? Like these are all things that, yes, it's very important for us to understand and to look at and to think about and to contemplate. But when you're taking in that information so much that you're like actually like depleting yourself, right? That's when it's a problem, right? Because there are people who are in these physical situations where there are physical circumstances, right? Do not allow them to, like, they have to put in 20 times harder work than you do to have that positive mindset, right? And if we're all here energetically, right, co-creating this reality together, then we need the people who have the time and the ability and the affluence of that positivity to take their time to cultivate that, because energetically you are still helping, you are still working, you're still digging, you're still like doing the work, right? In a different way, yes, but you're still doing the work, right? And I'm here to validate that, right? But also understand that yes, it's still important to be informed. 5111, right? It's still important to be informed, and it's still important to understand that you choose which side you're on, right? And not to say that this side don't have integrity, right? Because this one was heavy and like talking about integrity, right? But let's be real. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire is what wanted to come out, but that feels like the worst thing to say in this moment, given everything that's going on with people globally. But yeah, that's the phrase, right? So let's translate that phrase, right? Sometimes when somebody is stepping on you, you need to tell them, nah, don't you. A lot of things I can't say on YouTube. Don't you with me, because I can step on you too. Watch me push you down just as much as you want to push me down, right? And that power that comes from that why are all the okay, I'm gonna just let it happen, because it's just making me mad because it feels insensitive. But with that fire that ignites in you, right, that's important too, right? They're both important paths, right? And both of them will lead us to this communion, right? It's just understanding, right? It's just understanding like which lane you're in, and also like what really feels purposeful to you in how you align with understanding what's going on around you, right? And being informed about like literally just life around you. This is something that I remember talking about, and there will be expounding on that in the form of like a physical event at some point. But I remember just chatting about this, and it was important to me because I was like, some people have different thresholds of how they handle news, right? And for me, I know that like I have a longer bandwidth for things that are happening within my current community, like my, we'll call it whatever, like 50 miles of me, something like that, right? I have a longer bandwidth for that than to stay as in touch and like understanding of what's going on statewide, countrywide, globally, right? I like it here. I like it in my little bubble, and that's where I can have the most run, and then I can jog in other places, right? But I can sprint here, and understanding where that is for yourself, right? I think that's really important. I didn't know what this was gonna be about, and I feel like this is what it was gonna be about, right? The medicine song. I don't know what I sang it as before, but I'm gonna close out with it. I'm gonna wet my whistle. I said it kind of like Stewie, not actually, but whistle, whip. Let me while we get into it, because this was a lot for myself to process, and a lot I didn't know what I was walking into. So this was a very long video and a very long reading. but I feel very blessed to like have Chris in the deck. And like grant our children life and happiness, send forth the good south winds. Send forth your breath over the waters, that our world may be beautiful and our people may thrive. And I'm gonna skip to the bottom. Sit down, remain here. We give our best gift, our best thoughts. We inhale the sweet smell of the sacred breath through our prayer plumes. So yeah, that's exactly what it meant. That's exactly what it meant. And I could have just read that and got to it, but this was a juicier way to do it, and that's literally what it means. We sit down, remain here. We give our best gift, our best thoughts, right? Now you want to talk about like cultivating your energy. What you're thinking is cultivating your energy, right? It literally perpetuates everything else around you. So keeping that positive mindset, right? Regardless, because you like, if you have the privilege to sit comfortably and watch an hour-long video on YouTube, then you have the privilege to try and keep the best mindset that you can, and to keep others in your prayers, right? Sometimes we be getting a little selfish when we pray, and it's important for us to keep others in our prayers, right? And to remember, right? I love this part because it says, send forth your breath, right? There's something about praying, like you can pray in your head, but there's something about praying externally, like with your voice, that's so much more powerful. Send forth with your breath, or send forth your breath over the waters, right? I feel like waters in that is like kind of like the water cycle is it's contingent in everything. We have water within ourselves, right? The whole thing about like that guy who studied, I think it was in Japan, he like spoke over different water and like showing the different ways that it would crystallize in the molecular structure of it based on how nice or how mean you were to the water. Your words have power, right? So send forth your breath over the waters, that our world may be beautiful and our people may thrive. And so if you can't stay in the news cycle, but all you can do is you can pray. If you can't always donate, but all you can do is you can pray. If sometimes those prayers are not as wide out, and sometimes they are for self, and sometimes you just need to like realign yourself to then feel like you have the best energy to give because you're not in the most alignment in that state. That's all okay. It's all okay. It's understanding if you're walking in integrity with what you're doing. If you have integrity, then it will be coming out the right way. You know what I mean? Because it will be you cultivating your energy in the best way that you can. And we literally have the privilege of literally sitting here doing this, chatting, yapping. So if you have that privilege, use it wisely. Use it wisely. I think the only way to close this out as I'm talking about prayer is to hold a prayer. I feel like that song in a way is one, but I still feel called to offer more. So dear love, may you wash over every being on this earth. May love be the main power that is here to coat all of us and envelop us in your warmth, regardless of belief, ethnicity, language, religion, economic status, regardless of any external factors. May all living beings be blessed with love unconditionally from now until the end of time. May you please send extra warmth to those who need it in California right now. Warmth was not the best word, but again, we're just saying it. The feeling of a warm chocolate chip cookie that was baked by your grandma. That's love. Like a nice deep hug. I pray that all of those who are dealing with very complex, profound grief, regardless if that is losing their homes or their loved ones, are able to find comfort in your love. Because you are here for us unconditionally. There's no ultimatum, no ulterior motive. You are here for us, for each and every one of us. And may that always be. Okay. Love you.